Hello everyone, I'm Alex from Ernest Alex Reads, and today I am joined by my brother Aiden, who is an artist, cartoonist, my little bro, and today he's going to recommend some graphic novels for beginners like me. Like I said before, Aiden is an artist. He draws a lot of things and you can see it on Instagram. What's your Instagram?
Falling Lantern. It's an underscore between Falling and Lantern.
It will be in the description down below. Give him some love, and he's a really good artist.
I would appreciate it.
Take it away, Aiden.
So the first graphic novel is The Girl from the Other Side. It was released in January 24th, 2017, so it's a relatively new series. It's currently ongoing to my knowledge, and it has 7 volumes so far. I've only read the first volume, but I'd be interested in reading it more. It's about an outsider, which I'll explain later, and a little girl, and their adventures in the outside of this world. And the reason he's called an outsider is because there was a dark god in the story that was being a dark god, and there was a light god, and the light god cursed the dark god, and so the dark god started spreading his curse to other people, so the light god made a wall around all the non-cursed people, and so the two kingdoms were split like this, from the outsiders and the insiders. I think the biggest strengths of this series is the artwork, which is very fairy tale-like and old European-like. It has a great use of blacks and cross-hatching. I think the other strength of this series is the relationship between the outsider and the little girl. You can really feel the protectiveness and how much they like each other and how much of a father the outsider is to the little girl. So if you are looking for like a slightly simple little adventure fairy tale to read in a graphic novel form, I'd say this is for you. My next recommendation is My Hero Academia. This is a currently ongoing series published in Shonen Jump in Japan. It started in July 7th, 2014, and it's currently ongoing. It's very popular here in the States and in Japan, and it follows Izuku Midoriya and his adventures as a young hero in this world where everybody has a superpower known as a quirk. However, he is a small minority that doesn't have a quirk until he meets his idol and the #1 hero in the world, All Might. And All Might passes his quirk to Izuku, which nobody thought could happen. Then Izuku applies to his dream school, UA. This is the #1 hero school. This story has a lot of meaningful themes. They're not three-dimensional yet, but they're very likable, or in the case of Bakugo, the main antagonist, very unlikable. I find the art style very solid but sleek, and the story just has a way of getting you involved, and the themes of hard work is very applicable to everyday life. And if you're looking for a fun, simple, like turn your brain off type of story, it doesn't mean you have to turn your brain off. You can still, there's depth to it, but it's a simple one that you can enjoy. My next recommendation is Fullmetal Alchemist by Hiromu Arakawa. This series was started in 2001 and ended in 2010. It's 27 volumes long, so it'll be a hefty read for anybody. I feel like it's a page-turner, really. It starts out with Ed and Al, who are 2 brothers, and they commit the ultimate taboo in alchemy. They tried to use human transmutation to resurrect their mother. This leads to Ed, who is the smaller brother, losing an arm and a leg, and Al, who is the younger brother, but he's bigger now, his whole
They like you.
his whole body was taken away and his soul was transferred to a suit of armor. Now the boys are going across all of Amestris to find a way to get their bodies back. This has many meaningful themes, and the way that they explore human nature and science and religion is really affecting. And that's not all. It's like it's a duality between really serious stuff and fun character moments and silly parts that I feel like are really balanced well. And it has a very nice magic system with alchemy, which alchemy isn't magic, but it basically is. And the artwork is very simple but sleek, and everybody looks cool. It's just a fun romp all around for fantasy lovers, especially of, well, more Western fantasy. So if you're looking for a story that starts out simple but gets increasingly more complex, but is still engaging along the way, I feel like this is for you. My next recommendation is Mouse. This is the complete edition, so it's Mouse 1 and 2 combined, so you get the full story in one neat package. It was originally, Mouse was weekly in an underground comic magazine in 1980 and was collected later. It's the story of Anja and Vladek, who are two Polish Jews that are living in Poland during the Second World War. They were survivors of Auschwitz, and they eventually survived the war. And it's their story going through Poland and trying to run away from the Reich. It also follows their son, Art Spiegelman, who actually wrote this, and his story with his father and their relationship as he's trying to write this book. So there's that meta element. The book really utilizes visual metaphors, like showing the Jewish population as mice and the German population as cats, and so on and so forth, with Americans as dogs and French as frogs. It's a very nice shorthand, and that also prioritizes thinking of the Jewish population instead of individuals. It's also masterfully done, the way he constructs each page and each panel really visually tells a story instead of just the words. I recommend it to anybody who is interested in history and the world's greatest atrocity.
I remember in high school this was assigned reading, but I didn't get to read it because I was in honors. So yeah. I'm glad that I finally, many years later, because I'm an old woman now, get to read it.
Yeah, I read it 3 times already, so I got it last year, so okay. I'm a great fan of it.
Good to know. Thank you for your recommendation. Cut.
The next recommendation is The Amazing Spider-Man Marvel Masterworks. See, these are collections of story arcs and issues of classic Stan Lee comics. This one is the first 10 issues of The Amazing Spider-Man, plus his debut issue. This collection really gets across what the superhero appeal is and what the Spider-Man appeal is. It really, you feel for Peter when he's trying to just make money for his grandma, and when he learns his lesson that power is responsibility, and all the classic Spider-Man stuff you see in the movies now, but this is where it originated from. Steve Ditko is the artist for this collection, and he does a spectacular job making it all very punchy and really fun in a way that the words just can't. And if you're looking for a classic superhero story, I believe this is the best you can get. My next recommendation is Hellboy: Seed of Destruction. Hellboy is a very long-running series. It ended quite recently, and it's been going on since 1994. This is the first story in the Hellboy canon. Well, not canonically, but like the first one published. And it follows Hellboy, a demon from hell who was transported to England in 1944. And now he's in the BPRD, which is the Bureau of Paranormal Research and Discovery, I think. And he has a mission assigned to him to go to a mansion where there's frog beasts and all sorts of mystery stuff. This comic fuses pulpy fiction to gothic horror really well, and the art style is very arresting and distinct. I feel like it's good if you want like just a kind of scary but a really comic booky book. I feel like it's a lot of suspense and what's happening here, and if you're interested in mythology, this is a must read because it goes through mythology of Greeks and Mexican mythology and all sorts of stuff from around the world. And I'd recommend it to anybody who's into old horror movies, stuff like that. But it's not too scary. So don't worry if you're a little not into the scary stuff.
Like me.
Yeah.
So it sounds like a twist on like a traditional superhero gothic twist.
Mm-hmm. My next recommendation is not very similar. It's The Lumberjanes, which
I've heard of this one.
is a book written by Noelle Stevenson, Grace Ellis, and illustrated by Brooklyn Allen. It's about these 5 girls. Yeah, 5. Who are at a summer camp for all girls, and it's called The Lumberjanes. They get into wacky adventures. It's very cartoony. It's like a cartoon in comic form, in my opinion. It's very expressive characters, and they're all very likable, but are flawed like a real person. And if you want an easy adventure story with a heart of gold, I'd recommend this book. Another graphic novel by Noelle Stevenson. This is Nimona. This time Noelle is on art and story, so it's really a personal story in my opinion. Follows Nimona, who is training to be a sidekick for an evil dude when he's fighting his sworn enemy. And it starts out, you think it's going to be one-dimensional and cliche, but as time goes on and the novel progresses, it really gets more complex, and there's a lot of human parts to it, and the bad guys are the good guys, and the good guys are the bad guys, and nobody's the bad guys, and nobody's the good guys, and all that fun stuff. My final recommendation is Paper Girls, which was written by Brian K. Vaughan and illustrated by Cliff Chang. This volume takes place in the 80s with a group of teenagers, a little younger, tweenagers, as they're paper girls, and they're going around the block, and really weird stuff starts to happen. Like crazy aliens, time travel, nobody knows what's going on. The artwork is sleek, the colors are very nice, it won an award for its colors, and all the characters feel really human and realistic, especially the time period, the 80s, which has a lot of nostalgia glasses on it right now, so this makes a more realistic look at the 80s. And I'd recommend it for anybody who's wanting to get to know a cast of characters and really getting invested in them and all parts of their life, as time travel does happen at some point. No spoilers, but it happens. So I recommend it.
Does time travel happen?
It happens. So I'd recommend it to anybody who's interested in those types of plots.
So these are the 9 recommendations that I'm going to try to read as much as possible so I can discuss it with my baby brother who knows much more than me in this area. Thank you for recommending me and the people of the internet these graphic novels. Do check out his Instagram again. It's in the link below. He's really cool. Probably will become cooler than me, but time will tell.
Hopefully.
Okay. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.
Okay, because I was keeping my camera face on. I was like,
Okay.
Yo.
Thanks for the recommendation, Aiden. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Yep. No worries.
It's my job.
We know.
You should get one of the things.
Yeah, I should.
Sorry. Wait, what was that?
Pumping them out.
You're great. You're doing awesome. I'm so proud of my baby brother. I'm embarrassed of myself already. Okay, let's go.